Welcome to Line Therapist Training Part 1, Defining the Role of the Line Therapist. There are many roles at Fox Valley Autism Treatment Program. Dr. Klein is the CEO and owner of the company. You are not likely to have much contact with him. Stacy Ferg is the program director, and she is likely the source of questions that your senior cannot answer. Lead therapists are also a resource for you if you have questions that your senior cannot address. Your senior therapist should be able to cover most of your needs. With the insurance model, there are two types of services a child can receive: intensive and post-intensive. If it's intensive, you're going to have a lot more hours and you're going to have more contact with your senior. If it's post-intensive, you're not going to see your senior as much and the child will have less hours. If the funding source is through Medicaid, you could have comprehensive, focused, or daily living skills for the child. Comprehensive is going to be the most hours where you're going to see your senior the most. Focused will only have ABTs doing the therapy, so you will not be working on these cases. However, daily living skills you might. As a line therapist, you are going to be doing the most amount of hours with the client. Your job is extremely important for making progress. So know what's expected of you and follow the plan as closely as possible so that our clients can make the most amount of progress. As an ABA therapist, you are bound by confidentiality. This means that you cannot share any information about your client that could expose their identity. This includes taking pictures of them or posting anything on social media related to them. As an ABA therapist, you are a mandated reporter. This means that you have to report any abuse that you see. This is the definition of neglect as defined by the Wisconsin Department of Children and Family Services. This is the definition of physical abuse. Remember, in order for the state to be able to do anything about the abuse, they need proof. So make sure you document thoroughly. This is the definition of sexual abuse. Again, make sure your documentation is thorough and complete so the state can do something about it. Emotional damage is the most common form of abuse that we see. Your first step with seeing any kind of abuse is contacting your senior therapist, and they can help you decide whether or not it needs to be reported. Keep in mind that different opinions on parenting is not reportable. If a parent chooses to feed their kids hamburgers for every single meal or ice cream for every single meal, that is not considered abuse. As an ABA therapist, you are bound ethically to do no harm. There are a lot of ways you can do harm to a client. Not showing up for your shifts or quitting without notice, not providing quality care, all of those things can harm the client and prevent them from making progress. Make sure you're taking your job seriously. Boundaries are very important when working in this field. It is common that we get very close to our clients, but we must maintain a professional relationship at all times. This means we cannot hang out with our clients or spend time with them when we're not getting paid. Do not be Facebook friends or share any other social media with your clients. Make sure you do not talk about controversial topics, political beliefs, or religious affiliations. Things like this can harm your therapeutic relationship, and then the needs of the client are not first. Professionalism is important at all times. You are not only representing Fox Valley Autism Treatment Program, but you are representing all ABA therapists. So that means you need to dress professionally, you need to talk professionally. We can't show our frustrations, we can't yell at parents. We need to have professional behavior at all times. With that being said, it is okay to dress casually as long as our clothes are appropriate, since we are playing on the floor with children. Please remember that phone use is not okay during a therapy shift. The only time that it is acceptable to use your phone is if you're using it as a therapeutic tool. Often we use our phones for timers, or we use our phone as rewards for children. When communicating with parents, remember your boundaries. Parents will often come to you with questions and concerns because you will spend more time with the family than the seniors will. But it's important for those questions and concerns to be redirected to the seniors so that everybody can work effectively as a team. There are evaluations done by your senior therapist in February and by your families every summer. Your senior will talk with you and discuss the results of these evaluations, and your raise will be determined based on these. You are allowed 3 write-ups before your employment will be terminated unless it's an extreme situation. Timesheets and payroll are all done through your senior. Make sure you contact them with any questions or changes that need to be made. Understand that if your timesheets are not accurate, that is considered fraud. So make sure you are documenting correctly. When it comes to scheduling, it's your job to know your schedule and be there when you are scheduled. Please note that if you need to cancel a shift, it's your job to either find somebody to replace you or make up the shift. Contact your senior for any clarification on this. Please note that for snow days, it is your decision whether or not you feel comfortable driving in the snow. You will not be penalized for choosing not to drive, but you are responsible to make up that shift. As a final note, I would just like to point out that this is not a regular job. You are having a huge impact on children and their future. Thank you so much for your dedication to this job. Question 1. Who should you contact about reporting abuse? You should contact your senior therapist. As soon as you have a concern, call them and let them know what's going on. Together you can decide if it's reportable. Question 2. Who should you go to about timesheet questions? All of your questions about payroll and timesheets should all be directed to your senior therapist. Question 3. A parent wants to know if you can pick up an extra day during summer schedules. You think you can. How should you respond? It's important to note that scheduling is a complicated process, so do not promise to parents that you can take hours because you do not know if your senior is required to place you at a different house. Question 4. After talking with your senior first, who should you contact if you have an issue with your senior? The lead therapist on the case, or Stacy Ferg, are who you should contact if you have unresolved issues with your senior. Their contact info should be in the front of your binders. Question 5. The child has a bruise on his arm. He lies a lot, but says his mom gave it to him. What should you do? Call your senior as soon as possible. Discuss your concerns with your senior, and together you can decide whether or not to report it. Question 6. You would like to post on Facebook that you got spit on by a client today. Is this okay? This is not okay because we do not want to ever put our clients in a negative light. It's possible that you're friends with a friend of a friend who saw your Facebook status and reported it back to the parents. This could cause hurt feelings or conflict. Just avoid posting anything about work.